Oh, it's another day here at the Comeback Team Studios. This is your boy, Bek Lover, and welcome to another episode of Interesting Times with Bek Lover, where I gather the most interesting stories from around the globe, the U.S., anywhere that anything interesting is happening that I think you need to know about. I save you time having to scroll through all the different news stations and articles, and I give you my fun, funky, dramatic take on the world we live in. It is indeed a very, very, very interesting world that we live in, friends. Interesting times indeed. Make sure you subscribe and check out all my other content. You can go to beklover.com, where I have my world famous podcast, the Bek Lover Podcast, where I interview some of the most interesting and famous people in the world. But now to all the interesting news during this March 8th broadcast. Stay tuned, friends, as we dive into today's breaking news, stories, and headlines from around the world. Interesting times. Interesting times indeed, my friends. I'm reporting live here from New York City. It's a mild, almost end of winter day. We got very lucky this winter. We didn't have too much snow and there wasn't that much shoveling. So I'm very happy that spring is about to spring this weekend, actually. So don't forget to set your clocks forward. You lose an hour of sleep, but it's okay because at least it's not getting dark at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're freezing your ass off if you live in the Northeast or anywhere there's a cold climate. New York City's in a lot of turmoil. There's been some big announcements made by the governor. I'm going to get into that. The quality of our lives here in New York has deteriorated rapidly over the last few years with the invasion of migrants that are being welcomed at one point. Come on, we want you by the mayor and the governor to we can't handle it. We're in trouble. Crime's through the roof. What did you think was going to happen when you unleash desperate people into the most expensive city in the world? Once again, folks, make sure you subscribe and check out all the amazing content that's coming your way. I update things daily on my Instagram and all my social media outlets. In any event, I do want to dive into some really cool news today. I'm very, very, very excited about this. It's going to be a legendary bout. It's going to be an entertaining match of boxing, an exhibition straight out of a Rocky movie, really. It's kind of like when Rocky came out of retirement and went to fight Antonio Tarver. I think it was in Rocky 28. But if you remember in that, whichever Rocky it was, I think it was 6, he comes out of retirement to fight the world champion. This is going to be really exciting, and I got to take my hat off to Jake Paul. The guy's an entertainer. The guy's a marketing genius. The guy pulled off a fight that I think everyone's excited about with none other than the most ferocious fighter to ever have entered the ring, the retired, I'll eat your children, I will fuck you in the ass and make you humble, cursing, now reformed for the most part, Mike Tyson. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are set to fight. It's going to stream on Netflix. This has got to be an epic event. This has got to be a huge payday for all of them. I'm happy for Mike, man. I'm happy for Mike. That is why Mike Tyson is a champion. It wasn't just about him boxing and becoming the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer ever, the most ferocious to ever enter the ring. It's the fact that no matter how much life has knocked this man down through all the trials and tribulations, Mike Tyson refuses to quit. Mike Tyson refuses to quit. He stays humble. He worked hard. He launched an amazing social media presence. He came back swinging with an amazing podcast. He's generating millions of dollars, and people got to see a side of the champ that no one ever knew. We only knew him through what the media at the time. Remember, he went down in a ball of flames before social media. And now he has risen again. And to me, it's an amazing story of overcoming anything that comes your way. This man has been through it all, from losing a child to a horrible divorce in his marriage, which then landed him in prison, to a horrible way out in the boxing world and biting people's ears off to he has been able to really recapture people's hearts and minds. And regardless of what you think about Jake Paul, you got to take your hat off to the guy. You got to give him props to get Mike in the ring and pull off something like this. Is going to be extremely exciting. I really hope it's going to be real. I don't think Mike knows how to fake it. I think Mike Tyson is going to go into that ring and try to knock him the fuck out. And even though he's almost double his age, I have this feeling with his experience and somehow his ferocity, I think Mike Tyson's going to win. I'm going to call this, man. I think Mike's going to knock this motherfucker out. I hope. I mean, maybe I'm living off old memories of how he was and Mike Tyson's punch out and what a hard game that was. And so you had the cheat codes, but this will be nothing short of entertaining, to say the least. Congratulations to all of them. And it just shows you what you can do if you take your life and put it on YouTube. So you guys help me do that by subscribing, following, sharing my posts. If you enjoy getting your news from Bek Lover, don't forget me. I work hard. No one's paying me yet. I want to move into a much more serious topic, and I've spoke about this in previous episodes of Interesting Times with Bek Lover, but the world is about to have its largest hunger crisis ever in the Sudan, and the United Nations is warning that the humanitarian response is at its breaking point. And this is being reported by CNN. The war in Sudan is triggering the world's largest hunger crisis, with more than 25 million people trapped in a spiral of food insecurity, a United Nations agency has warned. 9 in 10 people across the country face emergency levels of hunger and are stuck in areas largely inaccessible due to relentless violence and interference by the warring parties, the UN World Food Program said Wednesday. 20 years ago, Darfur was the world's largest hunger crisis, and the world rallied to respond, but today the people of Sudan have been forgotten. And that's what I want to talk about. Why is it, and not to downplay any conflict or war or situation where people are hurting or being killed, God forbid, or starving to death like they are right now in Gaza. There is a very big threat to the Palestinian people that are stuck in that horrible situation to starve, but they're getting a lot of attention, and I guess it's very well deserved. But why is it that the West, why is it that I feel like as an American, we seem to neglect Africa? I know there's people out there that rally for it, and we've had celebrities doing things, but I just feel like the response is not the same. And it just breaks my heart that these things continually happen in such a large continent with so many ancient people and ways of life, and it's considered the cradle of civilization. And I don't feel like we do enough. Me and you, the average American, the average human being living in this world, we have to care about each other. We have to speak for those who can't speak. We have to remind the world that there's millions of people about to starve to death, while a lot of us are about to die because of how fat we are. And the contradiction, the oxymoron of that, if that even makes sense, what I'm saying, but the direct contradiction. And we wake up in the morning and I'm depressed and I'm this and I'm that. Do you ever think it's because we're all fat? Do you ever think it's because we have everything and we never have to worry about the little things? Like they say, we have first world problems. Oh, my Wi-Fi went off. Oh, I lost my job. There's so many people in this world that have to wake up and they don't even know where their next drink of water is coming from. Imagine if you didn't know where your next water was going to come from. We are spoiled. We are ungrateful. So many of us. I'm not saying all of you that listen to me. So many of us get stuck in these problems and we think they're like so horrible, and like we get I'm guilty of it. I am more guilty than you that are watching and listening to me now. I get into that mode, and I always try to remind myself of the blessings that I have. When I open up my refrigerator and do I feel like even having an orange? Do I want to have some roast beef? Do I want to have some fish sticks? Like, my God, guys and girls, we are so blessed, and we don't even see the blessings that we have in our own life. And because we're blessed, we have to help those that are less fortunate. We have to. It's our duty as brothers and sisters to each other. And if you don't have the money to donate to this cause, make people aware of it. Share this story. Let people know how in trouble the people of Sudan are. That is our duty. That is our responsibility as human beings. The conflict in Israel with the Palestinians in Gaza, it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. We've all seen these heartbreaking pictures, these heartbreaking stories. We're seeing bodies and bodies and bodies of children just being completely annihilated. And now it looks like they're facing starvation. And we heard the Vice President Kamala saying that, there needs to be an immediate ceasefire. And they held a meeting. And Reuters reports here that the Hamas delegation leaves Cairo, no sign of progress in ceasefire talks. Hamas said its delegation had left Cairo on Thursday amid ongoing negotiations on a ceasefire accord in Gaza that mediators hope to achieve before the start of Ramadan early next week. After 4 days of talks mediated by Qatar and Egypt to secure a 40-day ceasefire ahead of the Muslim fasting month, there is still no sign of progress on key sticking points, with both sides blaming each other. So there's no end in near. Ramadan begins on this Monday for 1 out of 5 people in the world. It is a very holy time during the, for the Muslim religion, the Islamic faith, where people that believe in God do not eat or drink water or anything from the minute the sun rises up to the minute the sun sets. And I've partaken in it many times in my life, and I do find it resets me, because when your belly's empty and you're thirsty for water, it makes you humble, it makes you grateful, it makes you think of people like the ones in Sudan, the children that are starving in the Gaza war, and all over the world. And it's a way to really remind humanity of their blessings. And that's one of my favorite, it sounds crazy to you, like, why would you be so, like, I can't wait for it to start. I feel like we become so entangled in materialism. I want this, give me that. Oh, if I could only have that, if I could only have this. And we forget to look at the blessings that God has given us, that we have all these opportunities. And there's so many around the world that they were just born in the wrong place, and that you're blessed. And I just want to wish anyone that observes that month a happy Ramadan to you, and I hope you have a successful fast. Also, the other holidays are around the corner for our Christian brothers and sisters that are celebrating Easter, and our Jewish brothers and sisters that celebrate Passover. And the fact that these 3 world faiths that have origins that they share in common are doing this to each other, it just contradicts what all those religions teach, each and every one of them. After 150 days of death and destruction in Gaza, Israel is neither stronger nor safer. This is reported by the Haaretz. The author is Gideon Levy. With war now having passed the 150-day mark, every Israeli should ask themselves honestly, are we better off now than on October 6th? Are we stronger, safer? Do we have greater deterrence? Are we more popular, prouder of ourselves? Are we more united, better in any way? I can say that I would have to say that, in my opinion, Israel might win the military battle of this conflict between the two peoples, but they have definitely lost the PR war. They've definitely lost the opinion of people that may have supported them before, who can no longer stand by the amount of violence. What happened last week with the flour and humanitarian aid, when people showed up and then so many people got killed or injured or maimed as they were just trying to get food because they were starving to death. It's very hard to feel any sympathy after a while, regardless of what happened on October 7th. People correlated to 2 people fighting. We're on the outside. I'm neutral. Okay, you guys are fine. You and Palestinians. All right, maybe Palestinians are the worst people in the world. Okay. Let's say that what you're saying is true. You're Israeli. You say that they're the bad guys. Okay. They hit you, so now you start beating the shit out of them. Great. If I'm observing this fight and I notice now that you're beating the person to the point where you might completely annihilate them, paralyze them, I have to jump in and stop you. And that's where America has lost the respect of the rest of the world. Because America could say, you know what, you guys got to stop now. And I bet you if America told Israel, you got to sit down because we're giving you all this money and come to the table, Give them their rights to exist, the Palestinians. Here's your hostages back. You both get to live in dignity and respect, but the problem is it just seems like it's never going to happen. And I think at this point, I think Israel should just say the truth. Like, you want to wipe them out. Let's be real. I have Jewish friends. I love you. I have cousins. My first cousins are Jewish. My family saved Jews during the Holocaust. My people, the Albanians, were the only country in Europe to save the Jews. We are the most tolerant and open-minded people when it comes to faith and other nationalities. But when you read an article like this, guys, it's kind of hard to not call it out for what it is. Like, you bulldoze their homes, you push them into two areas, you fucking, you don't treat them well. And this article just shows really what I think this was all about to begin with. The BBC reports, this ain't some rinky-dink newspaper, this is British Broadcasting. Israel approves plans for 3,400 new homes in the West Bank settlements. Israel's government has advanced plans for more than 3,400 new homes in the settlements in the occupied West Bank. Now, these places have already been marked by the world, the United Nations, that they're not supposed to have any more settlements. And they've been doing it for decades. That's why the United Nations is a fucking joke. They say one thing and they let other countries get away with whatever they want. Then you have countries like Russia or America can veto anything they want. It's a fucking joke. It's not about the world coming together, and it's just to give the illusion that we're trying to do something. Look, we're civilized. No, there's no civilization there. That's also why Africa gets neglected so much. Like, where are you guys? It's a joke. About 70% of the homes will be built in Mali Aidium, east of Jerusalem, with the rest in nearby Kedar and Efrat, south of Bethlehem. A minister has said the construction is a response to a deadly Palestinian attack near Mal Aduyom 2 weeks ago. The Palestinian Authority condemned the plans, which are already reportedly to be first approved since June. Israel has built about 160 settlements housing some 700,000 Jews since it occupied the West Bank and East Jerusalem land the Palestinians want as a part of a future state in the 1967 Middle East War. I mean, that's how long these conflicts have been going. For me personally, as someone that loves Jewish people, I fucking love you guys. Like, I really do. Most of the business I've done in my life has been with Jews. Like, I just get along really well with them. And for the most part, they fucking do what they say they're going to do. Like, when I do business, I've been fucked by my own people a million times, or other people, or other ethnicities. I've never had a bad experience with them. So I want to make this clear for the record. People go like, why? No, I'm going to be fair here. I'm advising you as someone that cares about your people, as someone that cares about your future, that I feel like you might win this land. You might even wipe them all out, but I promise you, it's going to bite you in the ass. It is going to destroy your future. There is going to be some karma for this. I'm telling you. And I'm scared that this might lead to the destruction of your people completely one day. I really do. And the reason for that is you're losing the hearts and the minds of everyone around the world that supports you, that thinks you're going overboard. Yes, what happened on October 7th was a fucking disaster. It's evil. The hostages need to be returned. But to sit here and try to whitewash everything that's gone down over the last 75 years, I can't call myself an honest person who speaks for justice and freedom if I don't speak about that. Your population was not there before World War II. Now, what it was 2,000-3,000 years ago, I don't know. But if we start playing that game, then all of us should get the fuck up right now and return the United States to the Native Americans, pay them reparations, and do all that shit. Not that I agree with what the settlers of this country did. But we live in 2024, man. Cameras, phones, you can see everything. You can hear everything. People don't forget these types of images. Maybe they forget posting and all that, but I just feel like the damage being done to the identity of the Jewish people because of this conflict is more costly than anything for them. And it's going to be hard to find sympathy from people and Holocaust and this and that. Like, it's a very dangerous game to play. And I just wish there was a way to bring you two together. Fuck, man. We're all going to die one day, man. We're not bringing nothing with us. You kill innocent people, whether you're a Palestinian or Israeli, you will go to hell. Period. In both of those religions. You will go to hell. Thou shalt not kill. 10 Commandments. Arabs came from Abraham. The Jews came from Abraham. Moses, thou shall not kill. There is no collateral damage excuse. There is no collateral damage excuse with God. There isn't. We have to find a way to end this conflict once for all. We have to find a way to bring peace to the world. We have to be more vocal. And we got to look in the mirror sometimes and be fucking real. And sometimes it's scary what you see in that mirror. We do it as individuals, but maybe right now, Israel, it's time that you do it as a nation. Look in the mirror for once. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you really taking the highest road possible? I want to believe that there's a way. There has to be a way. Back to this conflict. It's still escalated. Reuters is reporting a ship has evacuated after the first civilian fatalities in Houthis' Red Sea attacks. India's Navy evacuated all 20 crew from a stricken vessel in the Red Sea on Thursday after a Houthi attack killed 3 seafarers and the first civilian fatalities from the Yemeni group's campaign against the key shipping route. So we have had people now killed in one of these Houthi rebel attacks. I'm sure there's going to be a massive response for this from the U.S. and its allies. So this conflict that's happening in Israel can continue to spread, and it could be a powder keg. And I really don't recommend Israel doing this type of violence during the holy month of Ramadan, because you're going to strike a chord with 2 billion Muslims who are sick and tired of seeing some of this shit, and they've been seeing it for the last 30, 40 years. And I'm really scared where this all could go. And the last thing I want is Muslims, Christians, and Jews fighting each other. That's what the devil wants. You all heard maybe yesterday that there was Russian missiles allegedly that struck near Zelensky, the leader of the Ukraine, and the visiting Greek prime minister. We were this close to World War III yesterday. A deadly Russian missile strike on the port city of Odessa appeared to land near Ukraine's presidents Volodymyr Zelensky and visiting Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. I hope I made you proud, my Greek brothers and sisters. It's not easy to say your names either. Who described the moment of the bombardment as intense. The attack on port infrastructure on Wednesday killed 5 people and left an unspecified number wounded. We heard the sound of sirens and explosions that took place near us. This is reported by The Guardian. Okay. So basically, if they would have hit the Greek prime minister, to my understanding, that would have activated all of NATO because he's a NATO leader. We were this close to World War III, DEFCON 4 fucking. We live in interesting times, my friends. Speaking of war and armies, Sweden finally joins NATO, reported by The Guardian as well. After a 2-year wait, Hungary dropping opposition allows historically neutral country to become member, cementing alliance's control of the Nordic region. Sweden has officially become the 32nd member of NATO and a landmark moment for the historically neutral country and the Western Military Alliance. Stockholm's ratification process was finally completed in Washington on Thursday as Sweden and Hungary, the last country to ratify Sweden's membership, submitted the necessary documents after a drawn-out process that has taken nearly 2 years. The process was completed in about 5:30 p.m. Swedish time when the Swedish Prime Minister and the U.S. Secretary of State presided at a ceremony in which Sweden's instrument of accession to the alliance was officially deposited at the State Department. Good things come to those who wait. No better example, said Blinken. I hope it's good things, man. I'm not crazy about war and all this shit, but if we look at this map here, for those of you that are watching me, you can see that Russia is completely encircled in by NATO powers, which is what a lot of people blame the Ukraine war for. They think this is why Putin tried to create his own buffer zone. Here in New York City, we have our own war going on. We have the National Guard redeployed in New York City because our governor and our mayors are fucking, I don't think they're stupid. I think they're doing it on purpose. I really, really do. I think there's people that pay them to degrade our lives in New York City. The governor, reported by the Daily Beast, tells New York City subway riders who refuse back searches to go home. Governor Kathy Hochul said Thursday that people who refuse to submit to random back searches at a New York City subway stations should find some other way of getting around the metropolis. speaking the day after she announced the National Guard troops would be sent to boost security on the subway amid a string of recent violent crimes. Hochul was asked in an interview what those who don't want law enforcement rifling through their belongings should do. Then go home, she answered bluntly. We're not going to search you. You can say no, but you're not taking the subway. Hochul was grilled about the 5-point plan she unveiled Wednesday in an effort to address bloodshed on the subway. The scheme involves sending 750 members of the New York National Guard to the busiest stations. If people are feeling unsafe and won't come, then I have to do something about it. Yeah, you did a lot these last few years. You've done a lot to destroy our fucking city. You suck. Next, Trump, who just won on Super Tuesday, for those of you that are paying attention to it, there's a presidential election going on. I think we're just in the first act of what's going to come right before the election, but we'll see what happens. Trump is challenging Biden to debates anytime after Super Tuesday. I think if Biden does not accept the debate challenges from Trump, it shows nothing but weakness and that he does not have the mental cognition to debate Donald Trump, let alone run the country. So let's see what happens. Something tells me he might drop out of this race altogether. Elon Musk says Biden flying 320,000 unvetted migrants into the U.S. sets stage for something far worse than 9/11, reported by the New York Post. Elon Musk ripped President Joe Biden's administration for secretly, keep in mind here, this is the key word, secretly flying 320,000 unvetted migrants into the U.S. And he's right. We have millions of people that have come across our border. We don't know where they came from. This is the perfect opportunity, the perfect window for people that want to destroy us, who want to work programs, spy on us, all kinds of things that can be detrimental to us. Okay? And they have basically had a green light to bring anything they want in. Weapons, people, drugs, fighters, militants, fucking... We have a lot of fucking enemies with the last 20 presidents we've had. We've blown up half the world and we are sitting ducks. We're sitting ducks right now. I'm telling you, I'm just waiting to hear what the fuck happens. Oh, how did they get in? They got in through the border. It was wide open for fucking years. Elon Musk ain't wrong. Farmers threatened to bring Poland to a halt after police clash. Reuters reports tens of thousands of farmers and their supporters warned on Wednesday they would bring Poland to a standstill after violent clashes with police outside the country's parliament in Warsaw. The protesters gathered at the prime minister's office in the capital, burning tires and throwing firecrackers as they demanded a halt to cheap imports and environmental regulations they saw harm their livelihoods. And that's what it comes down to, folks. We didn't protect our economy as Americans. We allowed everyone to poach us. We allowed everybody to come in here. We allowed everyone to do whatever they wanted, learn our secrets, bring them back to their countries. We didn't put tariffs. We didn't do anything to protect the American economy. And at least in these smaller countries where they really feel the impact, they stand up and fight for their country, their production, their GDP, their livelihoods, while we have withered away in the United States of America because we have not placed tariffs. We made free trade agreements. We don't make people buy our shit. We allowed foreign spies, and I'm going to prove that to you. We have another article, come into our biggest corporations, steal their technology, take it back to their countries, and weaken America as a whole. This is why you never see anything anymore saying made in America. It all says made in China. China. One place you might not want to visit anytime soon, unfortunately, is Haiti. Haiti's prime minister is stranded abroad as gangs threaten civil war. Gangs in Haiti continue to surround the country's main airport in the capital, Port-au-Prince, making it impossible for the de facto prime minister to return to his country. So he's already been ousted out, the motherfucker. You're not even the prime minister anymore. If you can't get back into your country, you got no power, bro. You ain't running shit. Some gang guy is. You ain't the prime minister. The guy that calls himself Prime Minister Ariel Henry is currently in Puerto Rico, unable to get back to Haiti amid gang violence. Well, at least he's having a good time there, probably. The foreign minister of the DR said in a statement, the U.S. and Henry had asked the Dominican government for permission for his plane to make an indefinite layover in Dominican territory, which borders Haiti. On 2 occasions, the Dominican government communicated the impossibility of this layover. So DR, Dominican Republic, they're on the same island. And it's crazy because it seems like everything that's horrible happens on that side of the island. The earthquakes and all these horrible things. And DR, they're chilling. They're playing bachata, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're fucking having a great time. This guy who thinks he's the prime minister can't even get his neighboring country to allow him to land so he can try to smuggle himself back into his country. My man, you don't got no power. The gangs took over. Enormous amounts of violence. So many people are in trouble there. So many people are getting hurt, killed, raped. My prayers go to the Haitian people and their families that are over there. I got a lot of Haitian friends. I had a Haitian celebrity on my podcast, Daniel Jean. He's one of the greatest pranksters in the world. Shout out to Daniel Jean. I'm also had the got to hang out more than once with Wyclef Jean of the Fugees. You can check on my profile on Instagram and look at all those pictures and videos. We were sampling Albanian music, me and him. Have not seen him in a while. In any event, Haiti, my prayers are with you. May God bless you and may God strengthen your people. Kyoto, Japan, to ban tourists from Gisha district over out-of-control behavior. And basically, this is the district where the women dress up with the white face paint and the big kimonos, and people love to go there and take pictures with them because it shows like a really authentic and like historical, Japanese culture. But tourists always seem to act like idiots. And I got to say one thing. As an American, I don't think anyone acts stupider than us. I've been everywhere I go, and it's like fucking embarrassing the way we act sometimes. We got our Gap shirts. We're eating all kinds of shit like fucking animals. You go to Europe, everyone's like refined and calm. You'll hear Americans yelling in the streets, fucking drunk. We don't handle our liquor. We're starting fights. I was in Rome one time. I see all these American guys just fighting outside for no reason. And I hear the Italian guys going, what the fuck is wrong with these Americans, man? Like, they don't have a good time. Like, yo, when you travel, okay, just chill, man. Like, this is not your home. It might be like that in your neighborhood, but you're on someone else's turf. They got some rules that are different. It's always nice to go easy when you travel. Kind of get the lay of the land. Kind of learn a little bit about the culture before you go. Kind of have some respect for people. Try to learn about them while you're there. So many of us just consume and act like idiots. We think because we're shopping, we're doing something big. Like, come on, man. Philadelphia, not too far from us, hour and a half from New York City. 8 teens were shot waiting for a bus after school in Northeast Philadelphia, police say, as they hunt for the suspects who fled. I mean, we live in such a disgusting time. Our cities are becoming war zones. Okay, this only happened in the last 5-6 years. New York City used to be the safest city in the world. Okay, now we got the National Guard deployed. That's what happens when you allow lowlives to run your affairs. Just because you like their little punchlines, their little slogans. We love everyone. No, they don't love any of us because look at the way they run the places we live. TikTok is begging people, begging its users to call Congress about a looming ban. TikTok sent users in the U.S. a push notification on Wednesday warning that Congress is planning a total ban of TikTok. Some of you out there that are social media influencers that are big on TikTok, you better have a backup, bro. I hope you're on fucking Instagram. I hope you're on YouTube, bro. I hope you have other platforms because if that's all your eggs in one basket, you might lose your livelihood very quickly. Be prepared. Ghana's president says anti-LGBTQ bill has not reached his desk. This is reported by Reuters. The West African country is trying to pass a law, and this law is anti-LGBTQ. The people of Ghana seem to be against that type of lifestyle. So if they vote it down and they don't approve those laws and rights for that community, this bill could lead to a loss of $3.8 billion in world banking financing over the next 5 to 6 years. Derailing a $3 billion IMF loan package, the finance ministry said in a document seen by Reuters. So basically, if you don't go along with the ideology of the World Bank, whether you agree with it or not, they won't give you the money. You have to bow to their will, their culture. It might be against your religion. It might be against your cultural norms. It is what it is. You want their money, you got to play by their rules. Texas mom arrested after drink given to son to prevent bullying sends student to hospital. Now, that's one way to protect your kids. Mommy, what's wrong, Jimmy? This kid, Mikey, keeps punching me in class. Oh, we're going to get Mikey, Mama. Tomorrow I'm going to pack you snack for you and Mikey. You're going to take him a juice box, Capri Sun. You're going to give him these Oreos and say you just want to be friends and you don't want him to hit you no more. Give him the juice, Mommy. I promise. He'll never hurt you again. You got to be fucking out of your mind. A Texas mother is facing charges after a drink she allegedly gave to her son to prevent bullying was consumed by a student at a school in San Antonio. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office said it responded to the Legacy Traditional School upon learning that the sick child was given a drink by a classmate during physical education. The drink provided was found to contain a mixture of lemon, salt, and vinegar. Shortly after the child consumed the drink, he began having nausea and a headache. Well, at the end of the day, don't fuck with someone's kid, man. You don't know what, there's people that will kill you if you fuck with their kid. So, like, teach your children not to hurt other people's children. Like, real simple. For the first time in centuries, this is an amazing, story in the last day or two. For the first time in centuries, a gray whale is spotted in New England. Paul Dudley, an official in colonial Massachusetts, wrote in 1725 about a scrag whale that could be seen off New England's coast. The account is one of the last known documentations of the gray whale in the Atlantic. But the 90,000-pound mammals, which still inhabit the Pacific Ocean, appear to be returning to the Atlantic. And they just spotted their first one. So that's a cool story. Yay, whales, love you. Amazing creatures. If you eat whales, fuck you. Let them live. These are amazing creatures that are not supposed to be eaten. They're supposed to eat shit. Do not eat them, please. Yes, you guys in Asia, with the boats, leave the fucking whales alone, please. Like I was mentioning earlier, Chinese national arrested and charged with stealing AI trade secrets from Google. A Chinese national who allegedly stole more than 500 files from Google with confidential information on the company's AI technology has been arrested and charged with stealing trade secrets. The defendant, former Google employee Ling Wai Ding, was arrested Wednesday morning in Newark, California. The 38-year-old faces 4 counts of theft of trade secrets. Prosecutors say at the time that Ding was working for Google and stealing the building blocks of its AI technology, he was also secretly employed by 2 China-based tech companies. This shit has been going on in our country for decades. They use our open society, will hire anyone, right? Doesn't matter what your race, nationality, where you were born, and let you come in and learn the most top secret shit. And this is what they do all the time. This has been going on for a very, very long time. Okay? And it has made America weak and much more unsafe. Because these types of technologies get into the wrong hands or our enemies, we may not be the superpower anymore militarily either. We're already not economically anymore. Soon, we might not be militarily if this type of stuff continues to happen. Out of control, Five Guys, the hamburger franchise, prices ignite social media furor after $24 receipt for just burgers, fries, and a small drink goes viral. Where you guys been? We've been paying these types of prices in New York for a long time. It is excessive because you could buy 20 pounds of ground beef for that cost. I think a fair price for Five Guys, because it is better than McDonald's and all that other stuff. Even McDonald's is $15 right now. Maybe give us less fries in that bag, Five Guys, because what they like to do is you order a fry and then they dump like a whole nother fucking, and no one ever finishes it. A small fry is like the equivalent of like an extra, extra large fry anywhere else. Maybe put less potato fries and lower the price, because none of us are eating the fucking fries. We're throwing them in the garbage. Give us less fries, lower the price of the total package. That's one idea for you, Five Guys. Stop throwing in the extra shovel of fries, because no one seems to finish them. I have to this day, I'm 330 fucking pounds, have never finished a single serving of your fries, which means it's way too much. And I eat a lot. Less fries, lower the price. There you go, Five Guys. Single dose. Now, who told you drugs can't be good? A single dose of LSD provides immediate and lasting relief from anxiety, a study says. CNN.com. Clinical trials encouraging results won U.S. Food and Drug Administration breakthrough therapy status for LSD formulation to treat generalized anxiety disorder. The biopharmaceutical company is developing the drug Mind Medicine. A breakthrough designation is a recognition that a drug has demonstrated evidence of clinical efficacy in meeting an unmet medical need with morbidity and mortality associated with it, says Dr. Daniel Carlin. A single dose of MM120 led to a 48% rate of remission from generalized anxiety disorder at 12 weeks following the drug's administration. Hopefully this can help people that really have these types of disorders. Veterans, people who have been through traumatic experiences. Dallas biotech firm takes significant step towards recreating woolly mammoth from Asian elephant stem cells. This sounds like straight out of Jurassic Park. This is reported by people.com. Scientists are one step closer to bringing back one of the world's fiercest mammals. Dallas biotech company Colossal Biosciences has been working on several de-extinction projects in the hopes of bringing back the woolly mammoth and the dodo bird. But we have enough dodo birds everywhere we look these days. I mean, I don't know why they're extinct. Among other extinct species, and has reached a major milestone in its efforts. So they're playing around with DNA, stem cells, and they want to bring back an extinct animal. I wonder what could go wrong. And I want to finish out today's episode. We've all seen over the last few days, those that pay attention to sports and social media, Ryan Garcia, soon to fight a very big fight in 5 weeks with Devin Haney, current champion, is promising to put an end to his bizarre social media. So in the last few days, he was talking about some very well known theories about certain places that politicians and leaders gather. And it was mentioned by people like Alex Jones. He did a documentary where he crashed into what is known as Bohemian Grove. He's been making all these very wild accusations that horrible things happened to him and horrible things were happening to people, and he had to watch. And there's been a lot of really strange activity coming from him in the last few days. My guess tells me that he will not fight Kevin Daney. He will postpone this fight. There's something wrong with him right now. And speaking of one last story, I forgot. Alec Baldwin is not out of the woods yet, but the Rust movie where he ended up shooting the gun and it killed someone on set. The armorer, Hannah Gutierrez, pleaded guilty of involuntary manslaughter in an accidental shooting. So she's already been found guilty. In any event, there's so many things that happen in this world of ours. The world is a crazy place. There's news from all around the world. Stay tuned here always. I'm always going to bring you what's the best, the most interesting, the most fun, and I promise you won't be bored. I'll keep you in tune with everything that happens. Just hit that subscribe button, share my podcast, follow me on Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, Instagram at Bek Lover NYC. And you, my friends, are the reason I do what I do. So I just want to thank you for everything. And remember, we live in interesting times indeed, my friends. Till the next time, I'll see you later on Interesting Times with Bek Lover.